Extra starts now.
Welcome into Weather Extra. We are counting down to the month of March, but it feels like we're well into March weather-wise with these unseasonably warm temperatures. Another windy day. Had a wind advisory across Alabama that has been canceled here. I want to take you over to our first alert weather headlines, show you what's on the way here. You can see that we do have a possibility of maybe some strong to severe storms Wednesday and then also Thursday. Looks like Wednesday night and pretty much anything that pops up there starting on Wednesday we're going to have to watch. Friday morning, 4 a.m. to 1 o'clock, there is a risk for some strong to severe storms there as well. More of a line, something maybe a bit more organized there early on Friday that could impact the area. I want to jump over on radar to analysis mode and just show you what's happening here across the country. And then first off, you can see we do have a little bit of rain that's across our area, but that is the tail end of this massive storm system here. Look at all the snow that's impacting parts of New England, and New York's just covered up here. Heavy snow right now happening around Syracuse, and you got a transition zone, and then you get into the rain, and look at this, you go from snow in places like Binghamton, and then if you take the measuring tool, go from there to Morgantown almost, you got tornado warnings happening there, about a 200 to 300 mile stretch. So a very dynamic system here, a huge temperature discontinuity, major drop off. That means major pressure falls, strong winds, and a very powerful system. And that's one of the reasons why even way south across the southeast region we're dealing with those strong wind gusts, is because as this low pressure system tracks across the eastern third of the country, it's really generating quite a pressure field and a pressure gradient, and that's been driving those winds out there today. Wind speeds have backed off though as we go to the latest current wind speed map. You can see some gusts still showing up around 20 miles per hour around the Gadsden area. 74 at Clanton, 72 at Coleman. Now tonight it's going to be chilly out there. You look close, you can see a little bit of shower activity. Certainly nothing too extreme, but enough to where for some of us we may have to flip on the windshield wipers once or twice, but this is tapering off fairly sharply to the north. In fact, the sky clearing out, as you can see, back to the north and west. But looking ahead to Wednesday here, we're going to be talking about a marginal severe weather risk, but during the day, also Wednesday night and into early Thursday morning, there's going to be a disturbance at actually a cluster of storms probably that may try to materialize here late Wednesday. It's going to move into those northern areas, damaging wind gusts, possibly some hail producers. We're going to have to watch out for that Wednesday, especially during the evening and overnight for those areas to the north and west. And then also we're going to be watching Thursday and Friday. The Storm Prediction Center this far out has a 30% or greater risk, a more enhanced severe weather risk for areas back to the west. That does include West Alabama. If we get a storm on Thursday that manages to tap into some of that instability, develop to the west, and I can't totally rule out something trying to sneak into West Alabama late on Thursday. However, the primary risk for us is going to be the back edge of this system. We'll see a line of storms that develops that's going to move west to east across the area, and that's going to move in here late Thursday night. I mean, we're talking after 2 a.m. and into early on Friday morning. Main concern here is going to be damaging wind gusts, perhaps a tornado with this setup that's going to be in and out of here. Should be out of here by 1 o'clock on Friday. After that, we're going to have some cooler and drier weather making a return for the weekend, but it's still kind of too soon for many specifics on this. We need to see some more data. A lot could change with this. Of course, there's no guarantee, but we'll keep a close watch on this setup here as we look ahead. Let's take you over to what's coming up here on First Alert Weather Extra, and we mentioned that risk for storms. We'll, of course, have more on what's been happening in the Midwest from that system bringing all the gusty winds today. An update on that environmental disaster there in Ohio, that train derailment. We'll talk about the dust storm that's been happening in New Mexico, and just how long is this active pattern going to last as we go beyond the 7-day after the break on First Alert Weather Extra.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay, because knowing the first alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
If you have plans for this weekend, we have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, the WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. It's obviously been a windy start to the week across central Alabama. That same storm system produced at least 9 tornadoes across Oklahoma and Kansas on Sunday, damaging homes, flipping over cars, and hurting at least a dozen people. Mike Valerio brings us some stories of family survival.
Holy moly.
In Norman, Oklahoma, neighborhoods battered. This Jeep flipped onto the driveway of another home. Families waking up to survey the destruction of strong winds, once expected starting in April, now here in February.
I got up and then the wind just threw me back and I'm screaming. It was like a blizzard inside the house with all the debris flying. And I was screaming for my kids, you know, because they were in their bedrooms. I didn't know if they were hurt or anything.
Yep, look at that. Roof completely gone.
Neighbors in the aftermath describing how they survived.
A lot of real strong wind. I was standing out in the garage. My wife went to the neighbors to get in a shelter.
This is all connected to the same sweeping storm system, one that brought rare blizzard warnings to the mountains of Southern California earlier in the weekend. Then tornado threats to Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas on Sunday. Monday morning, this twister touching down in Champaign, Illinois, as the system marches east. Back on the West Coast, a new system of rain and high elevation snow pushes from the Pacific Northwest into California and the Rockies. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
And a new report shows cities in the mid-Atlantic and northern U.S. could get more hurricane damage in the future. Research from the First Street Foundation finds that as the planet warms, storms will be stronger, faster, and push farther north. The report lays out how homeowners' financial losses from hurricane damage is likely to increase significantly in some surprising new places. Florida and the Gulf Coast will continue to get the worst of the damage, but Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia could also become southern hurricane hotspots. As for the north, New York City could see the biggest uptick in average annual property damage, and the report predicts Newport News, Virginia, and other coastal communities in the mid-Atlantic will likely be affected more as well. The analysis forecasts up to 30 years in the future, since that's a common duration for a home mortgage. And though not quite hurricane season, we know wild weather comes with the spring territory. And it turns out it could be taking a toll on your health. Health experts say rapid weather changes can cause infections, trigger allergies, know that feel, or making existing medical problems worse. And unseasonably warm weather can be bad for your heart. Doctors say heat can lead to stress on the body, and those stress hormones can put pressure on the heart. Meanwhile, in Ohio, the federal government is moving ahead with plans to get rid of the waste from that devastating train derailment a few weeks ago. The Norfolk Southern train derailed more than 3 weeks ago, and the EPA says a shipment of contaminated liquid and solid waste will head to 2 EPA facilities in Ohio on Monday. Local governments are closely monitoring the operation to make sure the waste is safely removed. Coming up on First Alert Weather Extra, here at home in Alabama, we have a very active weather pattern in place. We check back in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt to break down when we'll likely see some storms this week. And I'll take us on a peek beyond the 7-day as, believe it or not, we head into March. First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
Are you noticing mold or discoloration in your shower? Or maybe you just want to replace that old bathtub with something more modern and luxurious? Well, either way, we've got you covered. Hey everybody, I'm joined by BJ Worzen, owner of West Shore Home, to talk a little shower and bath remodeling and how West Shore is making the entire process from start to finish fast and easy. BJ.
Thanks, Joe. At West Shore Home, we understand the headaches and stress a remodeling project can cause. That's why everything that we do is designed to make it stress-free for our customers.
A lot of people don't think of remodeling as stress-free, especially bath remodeling. So how are you making a complicated process easier?
Everything in our process can be done from the comfort of your own home. Give us a call and we'll send one of our bath experts out that has a time that's most convenient for you. And when it comes time for that installation, we're going to send one of our employee installers out and complete that project in as little as 1 day.
So no running out to big box stores and comparing samples and colors and then maybe waiting months for the installation. You're saying this is an all-inclusive process, making it really fast and easy for customers. That's great. Now, BJ, I understand you have a flash sale going on right now. Tell us about that.
That's right, Joe. Right now, anyone that gives us a call, we're going to do free installation on all shower and bath remodeling projects. On top of that, we're going to be doing 12 months, no interest, no payment financing. That means you can get that bath project done right now and not have to make any payments or pay any interest until 2024.
Free installation, that's a great offer. Well, let's see some projects you've done recently.
Absolutely, let's take a look. Here, we were able to completely remove an outdated shower and bath and install something that matched the rest of their bathroom. That low step feature is going to make getting in and out of that shower really easy. And the sleek matte black hardware looks amazing. Here's a few more. All of these were installed in 1 day, and just a reminder, for a limited time, anyone that calls will get free installation on their shower and bath project.
BJ, thanks so much. Folks, call West Shore Home now for this limited time offer. It's free installation on all shower and bath projects. Plus, for limited time, BJ is doing 12 months of no payments and no interest financing. Get your shower project now, and don't worry about making a single payment until 2024. Call West Shore Home now.
Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. You can see we got a little bit of rain here falling at Tuscaloosa. Just some sprinkles here, 77. This is a live look from Pier 43 there at Lake Tuscaloosa. But the weather out there, very warm, very mild tonight. A lot of clouds, still around 76 from Birmingham. Live look from McQueen Science Center. And in Nectar, we've had a little bit of rain there around Blount County, crossing around Nectar and Highway 160. Birmingham, 76 degrees. And there's another view from Red Mountain. But the rain, it's out there. You got to look close, though. If you head over to the First Alert Weather app, a couple of showers showing up here in the East Alabama. Let's check in some of our Weather Watcher reports last hour. We showed upper 70s. Anthony McDonald there measuring just 1/100 of an inch of rain. 79 Concord from John Talbot, and then in Trussville, 77 degrees and 7/100 of an inch of rain. By the way, that number popped up and it disappeared, but Tyler Young did measure a little bit of rain there, settling the dust in the Trussville area. But the rain, it's out there. Again, I mentioned Merrill, Montevallo Road, Eastern Valley Road. You can see some of this wet weather pushing in towards Dunavant and the Vandiver area, northern Shelby County, out of southern Jefferson County, out around Lake Purdy. Those areas getting a little bit of shower activity. Lincoln and to the north around Boiling Springs, getting a little bit of rain. That's moving over towards Morrisville. If you're watching around Alexandria, Blue Mountain, Anniston area, this is all moving to the east, so could get a little bit of wet weather before this is all out of here tonight here in the Anniston area. The next 24 hours, those showers are along a front. You can see they're pushing south by 9 o'clock tonight. If we see any rain still out there, maybe around Maplesville and down into the Montgomery area pretty much later on tonight. The sky will clear out. Winds continue to settle down. Notice 6 a.m. tomorrow morning showing 48 here. Hamilton, Jasper, Coleman 46. So a chill in the air certainly early tomorrow morning. But the good news is it's going to be a beautiful day. Not as windy. Lots of sunshine. A nice warm up in the afternoon into the 70s again. Yeah, this spring warmth, it's here to stay. You can see there Wednesday morning. We'll take it beyond 24 hours. Looks like we start out in the 50s. But notice we start to get some showers. We'll have to watch late Wednesday night and into early Thursday. There's going to be an area of storms that approaches from the northwest. Those northern areas especially, we'll have to watch it there Wednesday night if any of those storms are still severe. But then Friday morning is another time frame. Notice again there's that surge of moisture coming back on Wednesday. You can see that one cluster of storms there to the north, but then this is that Friday morning system. Notice how we have a line that develops Strong low-level jet developing, a lot of wind energy with this system. Again, the dynamics start to kind of lift north. Here's the thing, this comes in during the morning hours. The instability, it will be there. I mean, we need to watch this for the risk of some damaging straight-line winds as that presses on through. This model is a little bit faster. A lot of the global deterministic data really slowing this down, showing maybe 6 a.m. at the earliest through around 1 o'clock. So, again, the bulk of this is going to come in on Friday, but just watch it there late Thursday night and a Friday morning for that next chance of rain. That's why we have the first alert for possible severe storms. That's going to kick all the, the wet weather out of here, at least for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We've got the dry weather coming back and a little bit cooler. We mentioned don't put away the jacket. 38 degrees there in the early on Sunday morning. So it is going to be chilly out there, but at least right now we are forecasting a dry weekend. But it looks like a classic spring-like system here on the way for later on this week. And it's kind of interesting that we've seen this storm track shift so far north. We've been seeing severe weather today across parts of the Midwest. That system, it moved from the Central Plains and then into parts of the Midwest, into the Ohio Valley. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan, a very atypical pattern, certainly for this time of the year, Lauren.
Yeah, Wes, that's right. So what we often look at this time of the year is that potential to see the warmer air coming in that could potentially lead to severe weather, and also that possibility for some storms, if that were the case, that could bring above average rainfall. So you can see 6 to 10 days from now, it does look like we're going to be seeing above average temperatures still dominating across central Alabama. And that does include areas along the Gulf Coast as well. So it looks like spring really is going to continue to be the dominant player here. As we look ahead to next week and going beyond the 7-day, you still notice temperatures generally running above average, potentially going into the following weekend, that second weekend of March, a little bit of a cool down. And as far as any potential for freezing temperatures, because of course that's what we want to watch, those freezing temperatures are going to be fewer and farther between as we get into March and April, but we still don't want to sound the all clear just yet. We could see some cooler temperatures as we get into this upcoming weekend, but by the time we get into the middle of next week, looking a touch milder. So definitely looking at those temperatures running above average in the days ahead generally. Now, the 8 to 14-day rainfall outlook for a good portion of the U.S. does favor above average precipitation. So that means we could be seeing, if not some storm systems coming through, just some rainmakers that could be putting us with more rain in the forecast than we would see otherwise. So here we are on Tuesday, March 7th, showing us looking pretty dry for next Tuesday. By the middle of next week, could see a system coming in that could be bringing us some rainfall and potentially seeing that wetter pattern sticking around all the way through next Friday. So this is a situation where it's not just this week that we could be seeing active weather. It looks like that unsettled weather pattern would likely continue into next week with just some dry days here and there. Here we are, the second weekend of March, the 11th on Saturday, showing us fairly dry, but then as we get into that Sunday, the potential for a storm system coming. You see those warmer temperatures there showing up on beyond the 7-day. So anytime we see these storm systems coming through, you always hope, it'll just be a rainmaker and go about its way and maybe not produce any flooding, but we certainly want to keep an eye on the potential for any severe weather and these brief little cool downs. So generally still looks like spring is winning out, but coming up in First Alert Weather Extra, we'll take a trip to the desert Southwest, who hasn't been dealing with rain, instead a dust storm. We'll be right back.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be in your tornado safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Outside of any severe or winter weather, dust proved to be a problem over the weekend across the desert Southwest. We check in for an update from New Mexico.
From Albuquerque to Roswell, winds reaching 75 miles an hour or more could be felt.
I'm in shock, you know, but because we love our restaurant, we love our work.
And in Los Lunas, Francisco Cervantes shares his grief on the damage done to his restaurant, El Toro Patron. He says for the time being, people will need to stand by for business.
It's kind of hard for us because as a business, you know, owner, we try to provide to the public here in Los Lunas.
Cervantes says this is what the restaurant looked like before damages took place. Now, unrecognizable as he tries to figure out what to do next.
This amount of damage with this wind, I haven't seen anything like this for the 20+ years that I've been living here.
Matthew Spindler, a longtime resident, sent us to see more damage. I'm here in the Bosque Farms area and damage can still be seen, especially on people's properties with this massive tree that has just collapsed over itself, rooted up from the ground due to the winds. Although the situation is a stressful one, Cervantes says he's received overwhelming support.
We support, you need help, we have trucks, we have chainsaw, we have everything.
And lucky for him, Spindler is a construction worker with Compass Engineering and Construction, and he's offered his services to help.
Maybe I can give him a helping hand, getting the tree out and cut up for him.
For the time being, Cervantes appreciates the kind words and hopes all of New Mexico will be spared a break from the grueling winds.
I really appreciate all that words, all that push to me to can continue to this business.
I'm Julian Paras, KOAT, Action 7 News.
Well, here in Alabama, spring is obviously in the air. Hoover hosted its annual Arbor Day celebration at Aldrich Gardens. Many of those who attended got to take home a tree for free to plant. Among the tree experts there, Steve Bender, better known as the Grumpy Gardener.
I would try and get some information. I mean, ask people, what kind of tree do you want? You want something that's going to grow 10 feet tall? You want something that's going to grow 50 feet tall and shade your whole yard? You need to try and find the right tree for your spot. Is it a shady spot? Is it sunny? Does it stay wet? Is it a dry spot?
This year's event also helped replenish trees demolished by the January 12th tornado in Selma. Speaking of trees, we love them, but they also can be a bit of a nuisance this time of the year, especially those pine trees, the pollen. Whew, that always gets to me. So we did want to look at that First Alert sneeze meter over the next several days. Now, yes, we do have some rain in the forecast, especially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we'll see a little reprieve. You have that rain come through, it briefly helps, but notice it's just going to go right back up as we get into the weekend, those pollen levels being high. So even though your car may not be covered in yellow pollen just yet, don't worry, it's coming. And I don't know about y'all, I kind of just feel a little pain in my sinuses and nose. That's always a good sign that the pollen is doing its thing. But hey, it was a beautiful weekend once we got past Saturday. Sunday wasn't too shabby. And how about these beautiful photos that were sent in on the First Alert weather app over in Little Shoals along the Warrior River? Thanks to Mike Fallon for sending them in. This is the sunset last night. You can just see how it went from a beautiful sunset to those beautiful pink colors as well. So as far as that Super 7-day forecast, tomorrow I know it's Tuesday. It's a shame tomorrow's got to be Tuesday, the best day of the week weather-wise, but temperatures will still be on the warm side in the upper 70s under a mostly sunny sky. And then we have a couple rounds of storms that are going to be coming in Wednesday through Friday. I think that best chance for seeing some stronger storms will be Wednesday overnight into early Thursday, and then again Thursday night into Friday morning. So just make sure, as always, you have that First Alert weather app set to receive notifications, a weather radio ready to go, and those wireless emergency alerts tuned in or turned on your phone. And then, hey, the weekend, not too shabby. It is going to be getting a little cooler before we get to the weekend. The storm system that's coming through on Friday, we're windy today. It's going to get pretty windy again on Friday, even outside of any storm. So expect blustery conditions going into your Friday evening, then chilling out a little bit, quite literally, for the weekend. We expect temperatures to, if not get to the 30s on Saturday morning, definitely going to be a chilly start on Sunday, but looking more seasonable as we head into early March, and then potentially starting off dry and warmer for next week. But you can check back in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt tonight for an update on your forecast, and join us back here on Weather Extra every Monday through Friday night at 6:30 after Fox 6 News on your favorite streaming platform. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Monday evening.